Hello all, good afternoon and welcome to our live session today. As usual, thank you for keeping up to date and for joining us. Today we'll be looking at a topic which says everything you need to know about pursuing a master's by research in the UK. I don't know how many of us have heard about masters by research, and we do not know much about it, or perhaps we want to learn more about the masters by research in the UK. Kindly tell your friends as we begin to tell their friends, to tell their friends, to tell other friends, to tell their colleagues, to tell their siblings that Nexus Life has started. All right, so we'll be taking 2 minutes to give it more time so others could join us. While waiting, I wish to kindly recognize those who made it on time to attend today's session. Vendi Cakes, I applaud you. Thank you for joining. Swak Binta, thank you for joining. Yo_Life9, thank you. Abi_Demi, thank you. Onyemi_Abbas, if I got that correctly, thank you for joining us. Teas_Collection Gram, thank you for joining. Coffee_A.A, you're highly welcome. Joy19, thank you for joining. Tuboti, thank you for joining. Uncle Ayodeji, you're highly welcome. King Marshall 1, thank you. Mayor Joyce81, you're highly welcome. Mercy_Ceci, Iwells12, and those that are joining us now, we say a very big thank you for being in attendance today. So like I said, we're having a very unique topic today. So you sit down, get your writing notes and begin to jot down because you're going to learn a lot. Today's session is going to be explosive. By the way, like I said earlier, our topic today is everything you need to know about pursuing a master's by research in the UK. Now, if I wish to start by asking, what is master's by research? We've been hearing master's by research, perhaps we don't even know what it is, but we want to go into it. It is not far-fetched from what you might be thinking. Simply put, master's by research is actually a research degree that is internationally recognized, right? It is kind of an advanced postgraduate research degree. In most cases, people who go for this degree are people that want to actually maybe go into PhD research in the future. Then aside these people, the other kind of students who go for masters by research are people considering careers outside the academia, where high-level research skills are valued, but not actually going into doctorate program or PhD. All right. So masters by research, if you're wondering, perhaps you're an art student, a science student, and then you're like, oh, it's masters by research. Am I actually eligible for this program? Can I apply? Yeah, anybody can apply in as much as you meet the requirements. Now, for masters by research, it is classified under different categories because we have different subject areas or courses in masters by research. So we have masters in art by research for those who are arts inclined, and then we have masters in science by research, right? So whether you're doing masters by art or masters by science, they are all MRes, okay? What else do we want to know today about this MRes program? For the UK specifically, which we're talking about, this program avails you the opportunity to go with your dependents to the UK, right? And popularly now, there are quite a number of schools in the UK that are offering this program, from elite universities like the Imperial College London, University College London, University of Bristol, University of Manchester, University of Glasgow, University of East Anglia, University of Edinburgh, Cardiff University, Newcastle University, University of Liverpool, University of Southampton, University of New York, and even University of London, to mention but a few. We have an inexhaustible list of universities you can actually navigate if you wish to go for your master's by research. Some persons might also be confused at this point. Perhaps they've never heard of master's by research before, and they're asking what is the difference, or what are the differences between master's by research and the normal master's, or master's of science, or even master's in arts. Okay, so there are little discrepancies between these two. There are little discrepancies between master's by research and the normal MSc, you know. So the main difference here between these two comes down to the deliverables. While masters in science, or maybe masters programs, ordinary masters programs, are taught in the class, they are masters taught programs, say masters in art or masters of science, you know. Masters by research is specifically an independent research program. So this makes it outstanding and unique on its own. So while ordinary masters we are very conversant with, goes with teaching in the class, group works, assignments, seminar defense and the likes, not very far-fetched from what we know or what we did in our undergraduate. Now, for masters by research, it is just different in the sense that you are not going to be taught the way it ought to be when you are going for an ordinary master's, or the way you were taught in your undergraduate. You are going to be doing researches, right, on your own topic you have chosen. And MSc, so to say, consists of subject-specific taught modules, right? And which are similar to bachelor's degree. I've said this earlier. Why master's by research is just independent. However, you might actually get, or you may get, guidance from your tutor on how to navigate, because some students do not really know much about the MRes, even if you wish to go about it. So there are supervisors in your department that would guide you, but that does not mean they will sit you down in the class and begin to lecture you as usual, as though you were doing the ordinary masters. Another difference again is why the MRes students will complete a focused or an original piece of research that is centered around their own interest, or their own topic, or their own subject matter, which ends with a dissertation or thesis, right? Masters in ordinary masters rather does not really have all this, right? If you are to go for a dissertation or a thesis or a project, it should be after the whole program, and not every school even does dissertation. Okay, so another peculiar difference between masters by research and ordinary masters program is the places masters by ordinary masters rather places much emphasis on the wording when it comes to thesis writing. So while ordinary masters has a typical wording of 35 to 40,000 words, while masters by research has 35 to 40,000 words, ordinary masters has only 15 to 18 capacity of words. In other words, what I'm trying to say now is, if you are doing an ordinary master's, during your thesis writing or when you are writing your project is limited to only 15,000 to 18,000 words, while that of MRes is 35 to 40,000 words. So you can imagine how large the MRes dissertation or thesis is as compared to that of an ordinary master's. That is because it is a research-based program. Okay. Another fact again about masters by research is that most schools, though not all, have about 70% research program, while 30 could be theoretical, being that they will come to the class and teach you courses like methodology or how to write a research. Okay, some schools avail you that opportunity where you could do courses like methodology. Lecturers will present themselves to actually teach you before you divulge or before you go deep into the research. So some schools do 70% research and then 30% coursework. All right, why some schools do 100% coursework. You aren't going to appear in the class. However, your supervisor will be there to guide you at any stage of your dissertation. All right. Having talked about the differences between an MSc or an MA and a Masters by Research program, popularly known as MRes, I would want to actually tell us the available courses, all right, for this MRes. Now, some persons might feel like, oh, I'm interested in going for an MRes, but I do not know if my course is available. Yeah, we got you covered. We have lots of courses from humanities, social sciences, sciences, creative industries. Okay, so for MRes in humanities and social sciences, we have courses like African studies, we have American studies, we have applied linguistics, we have childhood studies, we have communication, we have criminology and criminal justice studies. We have developmental studies, we have early help, we have masters of research in education, we have gender studies, we have history, we have international relations, we have mental health and well-being, we have politics, we have public administration, we have security risk management, we have security studies, we have sociology, and we also have courses in molecular mechanism of disease. That is for the science area. We have MRes in drug delivery. We have MRes in physical geography. We have MRes in environmental management. We have MRes in biological sciences. We have MRes in biochemistry, right? We have MRes in human performance, health and rehabilitation. We also have those that are under the Faculty of Business. So under Faculty of Business, we have leadership and management, we have Islamic finance, we have logistics and supply chain management, we have accounting, we have economics, we have finance, management and marketing, right? And then under computer science, we have computing, we have artificial intelligence, okay? And then we have under engineering, we have courses under engineering rather. We also have courses in education. We have arts, we have theater arts, a lot of them. So I doubt if there is any field or course you would want to study that you wouldn't see a specialization on. All right, so kindly make up your mind and then pick a topic, a researchable topic that you wish to go for, and then let's help you pick a school for you and put in your application. Having noted this, that studying MRes program in the UK is very much possible, even for January intake of 2025. May intake of 2025, and subsequently September intake of 2025. What are you waiting for? Now is the time for you to know the entry requirements and the documents needed to impute this application. Because this is different from what we already know, it is best we have an idea on how to navigate this application, because it is not same as ordinary masters. So first, although this is specific to some schools, if you wish to go for a master's by research program, you would first have to get a supervisor. Why would you get a supervisor? You would actually get a supervisor because no man is an island. You're not going to work under your own capacity alone. You should be working under a supervisor who would tell you what to do and what not to do. And then this supervisor should be someone whose works actually aligns with yours or with your interest. If you're someone that is able to actually supervise you, so you don't just wake up one morning and then you start emailing supervisors randomly. All right, so if your school requires a supervisor before your application is made, the first thing you will do is to send a cold mail to the supervisor. How do you send a cold mail to supervisor, and how do you even wake up and then start sending a cold mail? First, you have to go to the school's website. Under the school's website, go to your department directly, and on your department's website you should be able to see list of supervisors and the works they have done. So if you are a business student, for instance, and you're going for leadership, right, it's not every supervisor or professor in that department that could actually supervise you. So if you're going for a topic like organizational leadership, right, you should target supervisors that have done previous works on organizational leadership. So by so doing, such supervisor will be the best fit for you. All right, so what you do is you take down the students the lecturer's email. If possible, go to Google and research more about the lecturer, know more about the lecturer and the lecturer's past works. Then you could then email the lecturer with a copy of your CV. When sending a cold mail, you do that with a copy of your CV, a good CV, right? And then you introduce yourself, tell the supervisor what you have studied previously and what your thesis or project was on. All right, so you could tell the supervisor your present proposal or your present research topic and how it aligns with his previous works or his present work, right? And then you indicate interest on the session you wish to apply for. By so doing, the lecturer would or the supervisor would know that, oh, this person is indicating interest for me to serve as his or her supervisor. Okay, when that happens, if the supervisor has vacancy or space in his office or lab, the supervisor will reply or respond by asking you to append your or submit your application. Reason why it is important to actually email a supervisor is they have a specific number of students to supervise. Mind you, they are not just supervising only the MRes students. They have undergraduate students, they have master's students, and then MRes and also PhD. So if the lecturer has gotten the number of students he wants, he might not actually want you to apply to that particular intake, perhaps general intake, and then he would advise you apply to May intake. By then, some of his students must have graduated in January. All right, so that's number one. But now, not every school requires cold mailing. Not every school requires supervisor. There are some schools that will just ask you to put in your application directly, so you do not really need a supervisor before getting an approval. In case you have one or two schools that you wish to, and then it is a supervisor, please, you can kindly reach out to us for advice, guidance, or to put you through on how to go about this, okay? And then the second requirement here is a second class honor. honors degree. Here, some schools specifically need a 2-1 for one to be eligible to apply for this program, right? However, we have some schools that would actually accept your 2-2. This is the reason why you have to come to us to guide you, right? So you don't along the way say, oh, I didn't see any school that would accept me. All right, so we are able to actually differentiate between schools that would accept 2-2 and those that will accept 2-1. All right, so but your 2-1 or 2-2 should actually be in a relevant subject. Otherwise, you need a good number of working experience if your degree does not align with the course you wish to go for or the MRes. Okay, so for you to actually do this, you might have to check the course details online to get information about the subject specialism that can be supported for this application. All right, so another requirement some schools would ask of, not every school though, is the English language testing system examination, popularly known as the IELTS. The IELTS or the TOEFL exam would be needed. Here, I think most schools or majority of the schools we have seen require at least 6.5 with no components. The band should be 6.5, but with no components less than 6.0. Okay, so for most schools, they need a minimum of IELTS score of 6.5, band 6.5, with no components less than 6.0. And this IELTS must be the academic IELTS. All right, the academic IELTS is for academic purposes. All right, so this is for IELTS. But for some schools, just a few of them, do not quote me, but just a few of them, if they need an IELTS and you do not have it, right, you would actually have to achieve you actually have to complete a pre-section English program in the school. So for some schools, they would ensure that you go for the pre-sectional sectional English program before you arrive in the UK, while some would allow you do it as soon as you arrive in the UK before your program starts. So for some of you that do not really want to write IELTS, okay, there are schools that even if they need IELTS, they could actually give you the privilege of sitting for a pre-sectional English program either before or after you arrive. Okay, so you might have to actually reach out to us to know what school do not need IELTS and what school need IELTS, or what school qualifies you for pre-sectional English program. Okay, so aside this, the next would be for you to submit a research proposal. Okay, most MRes programs or most schools that do MRes program would ask you to write a proposal. A proposal, please, is different from the normal statement of purpose we know. A proposal is not a motivational letter. A proposal is not a personal statement. A proposal is not a statement of purpose. A proposal is like a summary of what your work will look like. Okay, I am not going to give us a countdown or a rundown rather of what a proposal is or what it entails. I'm only going to give us a hint, so we'll have it at the back of our minds that proposal is actually different from the normal SOP we used to know. So some of us will be like, oh, you're asking me to get a proposal for this course, meanwhile I'm giving you an SOP. Yeah, a proposal is different from an SOP. Just like the name implies, a proposal shows that this is the topic you wish to go for, and this is the reason why you have chosen this topic, and these are the aims and objectives you wish to achieve by the end of the day. Then what questions emanate, what question can actually emanate from this your topic, and how what are the solutions, right? The questions, you're going to outline them, the why, and then that why should have an answer. This is even the reason why you are going for this research, because there is a question mark somewhere that needs to be filled. All right, okay? So your sampling method will also be written, how you wish to take your questionnaires, if it's a group thing, if it's an individual thing, what kind of table do you want to use. All those things will be ascertained inside your proposal. Okay, those facts rather would be ascertained inside your proposal. Okay, the proposal would also have the theoretical and empirical review, where you have synonymous works or synonymous topics that are like your own, that have been done by people before. Okay, this is the reason why picking a research topic, you should pick something that is researchable. Okay, if you pick a novel topic, you are going to dwell too long on it, number one. Then two, it's going to cost you more, because it is a fresh topic that has never been researched by anyone. So it's going to kind of be stressful. So you should go for a topic. You could see things on the empirical review. So you could compare and contrast other people's previous works done by other people, as to come to your own realization, or come in terms with your own objective. Okay, that is for the proposal. And now another thing again about the proposal is it is specific to school. Why some schools will request for proposal, other schools might not really ask for proposal. Okay, then for some schools, they have number of words they would need on that proposal. Okay, for some schools, they will ask you to write a proposal of not more than 1,000 words. Some will say minimum of 1,500 words. So you should always check the requirements of a school, or kindly reach out to us. We'll always there for you. We'll guide you with this. Okay, before you actually begin. So another interesting thing here about making application to an MRes program, or for an MRes program, is that applicants will be invited to attend an interview. Yeah, so this interview could be done before the application is made, or even after the application has been made. Let me explain this. Now, for some schools that would ask students to reach out to a supervisor before getting an approval to make the application. The supervisor would have to set you up for a sort of an interview. If you pass the interview, then the supervisor would recommend you for admission and give you the go-ahead order to actually submit your application. That's for schools that do interview before the application is made. So you're sure you must have passed the interview, and then your admission is even guaranteed before the application is made. All right. Why for some schools you must have put the application. Now you don't even need any supervisor for you to begin. You just make your application with all your documents, and then after which a supervisor will be assigned by the school to you. And then the supervisor will reach out to you. It could be one or a group interview. So at times in the departments, supervisors could just come out together, or professors will just come out together, and then you have an interview with them via Zoom or Google Team. Now, the success of that interview will determine if you're going to be taken or not. If you're going to be absorbed by the school, the interview would actually tell. Okay, so this is why you have to come to us, so we can guide you properly on how to go about this. Okay, do not do this on your own if you do not have the idea. We're always here for you. Okay, so having talked about the interview, which is done for some schools before the application is made, and then for other schools after the application is made. Okay, the next document here is the international passport. Okay, the international passport, as we know, shouldn't be less than 6 months into expiration if you are applying for any academic if you're applying for an MRes, or even any application that has to do with studies. Advisably, it is not good for you to use a passport that is at the verge of expiring. Okay, so I would always advise, let it be that you have more than 6 months left if possible. Okay, and then the name on your passport should tally with the name on your degree certificate, your transcript. If it does not tally, kindly get an affidavit of a change of name, okay, to attach to it, because it will raise an eyebrow if there are discrepancies between the name on your passport and the name on your credentials. So same thing is applicable to the date of birth on your international passport. If it is different from the remaining documents, you have to get an affidavit or affidavit of correction of a date of birth. Okay, so aside the international passport, we have the WAEC certificate. Don't be like, oh, I'm applying for a research program, why do I need WAEC? You would actually need a WAEC certificate. Okay, for Nigerians, most schools substitute WAEC or NECO for the English test like IELTS or TOEFL. So if you have your WAEC certificate, it shows that you have an English certificate. Okay, even if it's not the widely recognized standardized English certificate, but at least for West Africa, and then for most countries like ours, where English is our official language, we use WAEC or NECO or GCE, okay, to show that we were taught in the English with the English language. Okay, so another one is the degree certificate. For those of us that still have statements of results, I would advise you get your original degree certificate, as some schools wouldn't want to accept your statements of results, and even if they do, they would only issue you a conditional offer pending on when you are able to obtain your degree certificate. Okay, so please get your degree certificate before you begin this process. There are 1 or 2 schools that might accept your statement of result, but if you have graduated more than 2 years ago, I doubt if you are actually excusable why you should present a statement of results other than a degree certificate. Your degree certificate is already long overdue to be collected. All right, so aside that, we have the academic transcript. In as much as some schools do not want to give or issue the official original transcript to students, please, if your school does, kindly take the official one other than taking the one watermarked student copy. The transcript that is widely acceptable is the one that doesn't come with the watermark student copy. Okay, if it's not watermark student copy, it goes a long way to help and it makes things more easier. Okay, so for some schools, again, your student copy transcripts would be accepted, even if we would not advise you get that. But if that is what your school would issue to you, fine, then your school would have to officially send this transcript to your receiving school, which is your new school in the UK. Okay, but advisably, kindly get your transcripts, and if possible, do not pay for a transcript that has student copy watermarked everywhere. You might actually be issued a conditional offer. Okay, then for your CV, has to be updated. Now you are a research student or you are going for research, try as much as you could to include your past research on your CV. You have graduated from Madonna University, from University of Lagos, an all prestigious university in Nigeria, and before you passed out, you must have written a thesis or a project. Do not sweep that topic under the carpet. Do not throw your hard earned work away, right? It is advantageous for you to actually include your past work into your CV. Now the supervisor will be able to see that, oh, this person has done a research before, even if the research you've done is on a different field altogether. All right, at least you have the basic knowledge of what it entails. Okay, so it is very essential you include your past work into it. And now we have the SOP. Okay, SOP, statement of purpose, which is popularly known as SOP, is also one of the documents that would be required of you. So for the SOP, typically it's a detailed essay that has to do with everything about you, starting from your preamble, and then what the school you attended, what you did in school, what you graduated in if possible, and then over to your service and your work experience, the positions you've occupied, and then what propelled you to going for this MRes program, what topic you have chosen, and how would you actually navigate all this. Okay, and why did you choose that particular school? You have to pen that down on your SOP. What the course will do for you, your postgraduate plan, what you're going to do with the course after graduation, and why you chose to study in the UK. Having other countries, why did you actually choose to study in the UK? Okay, so these are the details that are going to be contained on your SOP. Okay, having talked about the SOP, lastly we're going to be talking about the reference letters. You would need two at least, though some schools will ask for 3 reference letters, but most schools would actually request for 2. But these reference letters are the professional or work reference from your place of work. Someone should be able to recommend you for admission. Okay, and then the other one or the other 2, if the school needs 3, should be from your previous school, should be from an academician. It could be your lecturer, your HOD, your dean, your supervisor. It should be someone from your school or someone that has lectured you previously. Person should be able to recommend you for an admission. Okay, so having said this, I think we have done justice to the entry requirements and the documents needed to apply for an MRes program. Okay, please have it at the back of your mind that MRes is a work independently done, right? As you're conducting your research, you know, you're diving into a subject that you're so passionate about, you have seen something very unique about this course, or you have seen that, this topic, you have seen that this thing, this topic would actually help a lot of people. When you're done with it, kindly get a subject or a proposal and then begin your application with us today. All right, to recap again, I said our topic today, for those of us that joined us late, is everything you need to know about pursuing a master's by research in the UK. So we've done justice to this topic today by telling us what master's by research is, and then we gave other highlights on masters by research. I also mentioned schools in the UK that does masters by research, and then we talked about the differences between the ordinary masters, which is course-based masters, or the taught masters, and the MRes, which is the masters by research. Okay, and then we also talked about the courses that are available from humanities, sciences, the arts, business. You know, I mentioned or listed courses that are available, as everyone has a course. All right, so I also went further to talk about the entry requirements, where some schools would demand you could mail a professor or a supervisor as to begin your application, and then some schools will need 2-2, some would need 2-1, some need IELTS. So there are entry requirements. You might not be able to go over this all alone. kindly reach out to us if you need our guidance or assistance. All right. Then I mentioned proposal and why you should write a good proposal and what a proposal entails. Okay, I just chipped that in. I think a day will come when we're actually going to set a topic up and teach us how to write a good proposal. We're going to do that on our live someday. We're going to teach our students how to write a good proposal and what a good proposal looks like. So when you come across one, you should be able to know. And when you write one, you should be able to beat your chest and say, oh, I have done a great job. All right. Having said all this, I would like to know if we have questions. Remember, this MRes program gives you the opportunity to travel to the UK while you go for your research program or for your studies. Okay, so if you have your spouse, your children, and you wish to travel with them for this program, it's actually available for you, and it's true. Somebody said, oh, I've heard of MRes. Is it true? Can I go with my family? Yes, with MRes you can actually go with your family to the UK. Okay, there are programs open for January intake, some are open for May intake, some are open for September intake. Okay, so reach out to us if you want to know more. You can begin your application now and then go for January intake. Applications are very much open. Schools just opened for January intake. What are you waiting for? Let's work together, guys. Okay, I would want to entertain questions. You can wave at me if you're following, please. I want you to ask me questions. A lot have been said today. A lot has been said today, and I don't know how many people actually understood everything I said. Should in case you are lost somewhere, you want clarity or you have a question, do you have any notion? You've heard of something in respect to the MRes program and you want clarity, kindly bring it up, okay? And then if you have a question that's been bothering you on MRes program, does it have to do with the location or the installment plan, the requirements? Come on, just ask your questions, all right? I am here to take them. I am not seeing questions here. Thank you so much for this beautiful section. Okay, thank you. Yes, this was an amazing session. Okay, thank you. Right, I'm still waiting. Does it mean everybody understood what I said? I'm surprised. Okay, thank you all for joining. Thank you. I'm so excited. We have a full house today, and I guess the session was amazing. It was awesome, and so many of us understood everything I've said. Okay, but should in case you have questions or you want us to assist you in making this dream come true, you want to see yourself and your family in the UK come January 2025, May 2025, please come on, kindly reach out to us. We'll help you to make this dream a reality. I understand that not all MRes courses are eligible with dependents. Yeah, MRes that are course taught are not eligible. It is only the research MRes that avails one the opportunity to go with dependents. Okay, so there are research programs that are taught. You'll be taught in the class. You have to sit down in class and then listen to the lecturer, take notes, you know, like you're actually going for a master's, but all through the time you are spending, it's you're not actually going for a research. Okay, it's like the normal master's program where you're going to be taught. So if your MRes is a taught MRes, you are not eligible to go with dependents. Okay, so this is why you even have to come to us, because you might actually not be able to differentiate schools or courses that would allow you go with your dependents and those that would not allow you go with your dependents. So, but if you have this kind of question or clarity you wish to make on the school that will allow you go with your dependents for MRes, please private chat any of our esteemed counselor. Okay, they'll be able to guide you through. Thank you for that question, Mayor Josie. All right, I appreciate. More questions, please. More questions. All right, so there are affordable schools for this MRes program. Should, in case you feel, oh, because it's MRes, I'm going for a research, it could be very expensive. All right, I think there are schools that are quite affordable, just like the normal masters. And this masters, again, in case I didn't say this, for MRes or masters by research, there are schools that their program is just for 1 year. IHS fee is for 1 year, your research is just for 1 year. While there are schools that their masters is actually for 2 years. It depends on what you want. You're covered. If you want a masters by research of 1 year, we got you covered. If you want masters by research of 2 years, it's still available. What about the MRes that has some thought models in it? Okay, so like I said before, I did mention that some schools have 70% research and 30% thought. Now, the thought part of it is not too much, or wouldn't make you not to go with your dependents. So the thought part of it is like introducing research or research writing to the students, after which the students would have to work independently. So this is where the masters, this is where the thought part of it comes. Like you going for a master's program here in Nigeria too, when you begin, you do methodology as a course where they teach you how to write a dissertation, right? And after which nobody comes to teach you how to write a dissertation again. You are then on your own, okay? So for schools that do 70% MRes and then 30% thoughts, you are allowed to go with your dependents, because generally the higher percentage of the research program covers everything. You just have 30% of thoughts, which is just the basic on how to navigate the MRes since you are new into it, okay? Some MRes have a little bit of thought models but allow dependents. Some MRes have a little bit of thought models but allow dependents. Okay, I just said that. Yeah, you're right. I just said that. Okay. Mayor Josie, thank you for the inputs. Thank you. All right. Any more questions? Do you have notions? You've heard of something? You want clarity? Please ask your questions. Okay. TikTok. Okay, so in absence of no other questions, I don't feel like leaving though. I would want to take my leave now. It was actually an awesome session. I love you guys. See you this time next week, same Wednesday, for another interesting live session. Thank you for having me here today, and thank you for keeping up to date. Thank you. Bye, guys.